Well, it is time to repot my golden rat tail and my fishbone cactus. You can see that this golden rat tail is leaning a bit to the side, so we'll get on over to the potting bench and take care of this little problem. For this repot, I'm using a cocoa liner basket. Now the soil in this container will dry out a little bit quicker as compared to a plastic pot or a ceramic pot, but that is fine with me because I would rather it dry out quicker than hold on to moisture for long periods of time. So here I am adding just regular cactus and citrus and palm gardening soil. And I'm adding a little bit of perlite to the mixture to have more aeration in the soil and for fast drainage. Now, I do realize a lot of people will add some inorganic material and a lot of grit to their soil, but I'm in zone 10A and I have found that this combination works for me. I have not had any problem with my cacti rotting using this type of soil, so use what's best for you. Now that the soil is ready, it is time for the scary part, and that is potting up this golden rat tail into the pot. Oops, yeah, a thorn in my finger already. That's why you need to wear gloves. The scientific name for this cactus is Cleistocactus winteri, and this cactus is native to the Bolivian Andes. Now, this plant is relatively easy to grow. It's pretty fast growing and it might need repotting every 18 months or so. Now, I purchased mine in July of 2022, so I've had this cactus for almost 3 years, and this is my second repot of the cactus. And the tails on the rat tail cactus can grow up to 40 inches in length, and as you see, they do have short bristle-like spines. Now that I have my gloves on, let's see if I can get this into the pot. Some of the rock is coming out of the pot, mixing in with the soil, but that's okay. And I think I'm going to need to loosen this up with a tool, just a little succulent shovel that I have. Okay, that worked. It came loose nicely. All right. As with most cacti and succulents, you water only when the soil is completely dry. And when you are planting, make sure you use well-draining soil. And here I'm just backfilling it with the soil, and I might mix some other perlite in with this top part of the soil later. Okay, and now for some more information about the rat tail cactus, also known as the Cleistocactus winteri. All right, it likes partial sun or light shade. A lot of times when a person thinks of a cactus, they think full blasting sun, but that is not always true. Like I said, you want partial sun or light shade, and do not place it in the full sun, as your cactus will sunburn. And the rat tail cactus is hardy in zones 9A to 11B, and it blooms in the summer. Now, mine has not bloomed yet. I had my monkey tail cactus bloom, but not my rat tail cactus. Okay, so it blooms in the summer, and the flowers are tubular and can be a pink salmon color to a bright red. Now, I'm thinking since they are salmon colored, I'm thinking since they are tubular, that hummingbirds may like the flowers on this one, so I'm anxious to see what happens once this plant blooms. You can see here that I'm placing some larger sized rocks underneath the stems of the cacti. I want to keep the cactus straight, plus I do not want those stems or tails sitting or resting in the soil. I don't want a situation for the plant to rot. So I'm going to be laying some more rock down here. I don't have a ton of rock on hand, so I'm just kind of using a mishmash of whatever I have. And lastly, I'm attaching the chain. Now, I'm thinking it's probably a good idea to attach the chain when you are all finished with the repot. That way you don't have to jiggle the plant around while the chain is on there and end up positioning the plant incorrectly and having the stem interfere with the chain, and you might end up knocking off a stem. But this is the method that works for me. You do whatever works for you. All right, it is securely attached, so let's go hang it up and see how it looks. I'm glad I chose this cocoa liner pot. I think the cactus looks really nice inside this particular pot. Let's grab that fishbone cactus on the left and go pot that guy up. He desperately needs a new pot. I have not yet used this basket, so I need to clip the tags off and remove the chain, but you can see here they call it a smart cocoa liner. Now in the bottom of this basket, it does have some plastic kind of in between the coconut fiber layers. So what I'm doing here is poking a hole in the bottom of it to make sure I have good drainage, because if I did not, that plastic would hold the water in on the bottom of this pot, and I do not want that to happen. Now, if I was growing some flowers in here, that would be fine. I would not need to poke a hole into the liner, but in this case, I do, because I do not want the water to sit on the bottom. The soil is in the pot, so let's mix it up and go get the fishbone cactus. The scientific name for this cactus is Selenicereus anthonianus. Now that just doesn't sound very nice, now does it? Let's pronounce it as anthonianus. Okay, I truly have no clue on how to pronounce this scientific name, so you saw how it's spelled. You can maybe check that out for yourself on how it's pronounced. You can see here I'm not being quite as careful as I should be. Some of the branches are bending a bit too much. You can see here that I did end up breaking a piece off of this fishbone cactus, but that's okay. I can let it harden off and then plant it into dry soil, and I'll have a whole new plant. Let's get back to the facts. Now, this plant is native to the rainforests in southern Mexico, and the fact that it's native to a rainforest tells you that the fishbone cactus can tolerate a little more water than your other cacti. I water my cactus when the soil is completely dry. And this cactus is also supposed to love humid and moist environments. However, I live in the dry climate of Southern California, and I have not had any problems growing this plant. Do not place this cactus in full sun. It prefers indirect sunlight, and as you saw, I keep mine hanging under the eaves of my house. And this cactus is also hardy in USDA zones 10A to 11B. And I also forgot to tell you that some of the other common names for the fishbone cactus are zigzag cactus or rickrack cactus. Now, as far as the size of this fishbone cactus, the branches can reach 2 to 3 feet long and 3 to 4 inches wide. And it will bloom in the late spring and early summer. And the flowers are large, fragrant, and showy, and they open in the late afternoon and only last for one day. So once you see a bud forming on this plant, keep an eye on it so you don't miss the bloom. And they will bloom during the night, so you can always go out in the evening and check it out. You know, I really like these cocoa liner pots. I'll probably go out and get a few more so I can replace all of my hanging cacti and put them into those pots. All right, that is it for now. Thank you for watching. Check back with me next week to see what I'm up to. Bye.